In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I lost weight eating a plant-based whole foods lifestyle. If you're new here, my name is Brenda. If you're returning, welcome back. I started eating a plant-based lifestyle several months ago, and the reason for that is I was doing keto before. If you've been following me a while, you might have seen the reasons why, and I'll list a video here as to why I stopped eating the keto lifestyle. So let me go ahead and give you a quick rundown as to why I started doing keto and what happened and why I changed. So I started doing keto in, I believe it was the end of 19 or beginning of 2020. I was about 63 pounds over my normal weight. And I say normal meaning where I was and what I was maintaining before the weight gain of 63 pounds. And I was having so many health issues at once during that time. I was going through just a lot of female issues. There was lots of bloating. I've dealt with migraines since I was 10 years old, and I'm 50 years old now. So I've been dealing with them for a long time. So it's just chronic. And after I had my second child, she was my heaviest child, I started with back pain, and that was back in 2000. So the pain was intermittent. It was here and there. I had my last child. After I had him, you know, he was average weight. I didn't have any problems for a while, and then the back pain slowly started creeping up. So I was dealing with lots of chronic pain. So the lower back pain then migrated down to my hips. So it was just lots of pain, chronic pain for years and years, and I got sick of it. So you throw in the chronic pain, you throw in 63 pounds of extra weight. I'm sure that just didn't help at all. And you throw in the fact that I was eating the standard American diet. So you throw all that into the mix. It was a combination of, you know, catastrophic issues. I started having, like I said, female issues. I had to have a hysterectomy, and that was 5 years ago. And best thing ever. If you are contemplating that, I can do a video on that if you'd like. Just let me know down in the comments. But it was the best decision ever. So I believe that also contributed to the weight gain. And I had gained all this weight very fast. It was within a year's time. So I'm pretty sure hormones did play into it. I had gone to the doctor and before I had my hysterectomy and told them I was gaining weight too quickly. What do I need to do? And right away they were telling me about diet methods as far as, you know, medications, and nothing like the medications that are, you know, being prescribed now for weight loss. It was just, you know, different. I can't even remember. I think phentamine, if I'm saying that correctly, or I can't remember the name. I'll list it here if I remember. But it was those types of drugs, and that's not what I was going for. I wanted to make sure internally that things were where they needed to be. And in that appointment as well, they pretty much said, well, you're in your 40s. Things tend to change when you're in your 40s. And I left that office feeling super upset, deflated, you name it. I pretty much thought, okay, well, this is 40s. You know, I felt like there was nothing else. Well, that's when I went down the rabbit hole of doing research, and that's when I ran into, I believe it was keto and then intermittent fasting. So I started buckling down on doing keto, and I did intermittent fasting. I think I started doing 12 or 13 hours. I can't remember exactly. And I started losing weight. It was quick. I started losing weight. It was just dropping off like crazy. Keep in mind, I was over 60 pounds, so that weight was gonna come off, and I'm sure tons of water weight, but I hit a plateau. And once I hit that plateau, I'm sure that was, you know, all the water weight that had come off, and now it was, you know, really hitting the fat. So then I started cutting down more on carbs and restricting more and reducing my calorie intake. I started doing all that, and again, weight started coming off. Well, after a year of doing keto, I had lost all the weight. I lost over 63 pounds. I was amazed. I was happy. So I slowly creeped back into the standard American diet. And once that happened, I gained a few pounds, and it was during the holidays as well. So, you know, it was expected. Well, then I decided after, you know, the holidays were over that I was gonna go into carnivore, because again, I kind of ran into that as well when I was doing keto. I didn't want to restrict that much, but needless to say, I did jump into carnivore. And my weight would fluctuate on carnivore. It would go up and down and up and down. I was eating tons of fat, saturated fat, as you all know, that's what it is. And lots of butter, steaks, you know, fatty steaks. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious. I loved it. I thought, you know what? There's nothing better than this. There's nothing better than cheeseburgers, bacon. I loved it. I enjoyed it at the time. I won't deny that. But then I started having some health issues. I started feeling really, really fatigued. I started feeling, getting lots of cramping. I started getting just some rashes here and there. I started running into some health issues. So I started eliminating butter. I started pretty much eliminating a lot of different things, or I should say tweaking a lot of different things. I thought it was stevia. I thought it was a whole bunch of things. So I was doing so many tweaks that it got tiresome. I felt like I'm not an expert in this, something's wrong. And then I started consuming Element for, you know, make sure I was getting in all my minerals, and just, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. I felt like it was more work, and I had so many people tell me I'm making it complicated, you know, and I know I wasn't. I know there was something just not right. I was just doing, you know, eating what I was supposed to be eating on carnivore, and I was still running into some issues. And then, you know, again, the roller coaster with the weight. I gained about 10 to 12 pounds, and it was all just in my belly. And not only that, if you would touch me, I felt like it was a marshmallow. It was just tons of just fat. And in my midsection, you could see, it looked like, I know this is TMI, but it looked like curds. I'm not kidding. And obviously cellulite, whatever, but I never had that before. Obviously I did have weight gain, but I never had what it looked like, you know, cellulite. So I knew, you know what, it was bothering me. It was weighing on my mind that I needed to do something different. Plant-based diet. That's when that came in, and I started looking into it, found Starch Solution, and I started watching documentaries. I started reading all these books about it. I started watching some YouTubers, Healthy Emmy, Plantfully Kiki. I started watching, I believe, McDougall, obviously, Starch Solution. So all those, I thought, I've got to give it a try. At this point, it was more health because I knew the fat that I had was extremely unhealthy. And also, I wanted to find something that was long-term and sustainable. I felt like eating keto and carnivore were not sustainable for me because I was restricting. So I didn't like that. I missed vegetables and fruits, and I missed it all. And I was thinking about it a lot. There were times where I felt great and I didn't miss it, but then it would come back again. So it was, again, roller coaster is the definition for me. So I started the starch solution, like I said, 50, and the plate that I followed on there to a T for about the first 6 weeks was 50-50, you know, leafy greens, your veggies, and a starch, you know, and your legumes. So I would break up my plate 50-50. I would add, you know, rice. I would add sweet potatoes, white potatoes, and let me tell you, food never tastes this good to me. And I don't know if it tastes this good because I restricted it for so long. I don't know, but let me tell you, I have not looked back. I was so happy to incorporate those back into my lifestyle. And once I started that, after I believe it was a couple of weeks, I lost 4 pounds and I didn't have to try. Again, there is no calorie counting. You can eat as much as you like until, you know, satiation, until you're full, comfortably full. And it was awesome. And what I love about it, like I said, is I don't have my phone to input all my calories, what I'm eating, no weighing. That felt so liberating to me. I can't even begin to tell you. And, you know, and I had those apps on my phone. I thought, I'm deleting these. When I look back now, that was a lot of time and work to be weighing everything. And oh my gosh, I am so happy I'm not doing that any longer. And losing the weight, what also helped was I wasn't eating any fats, whether healthy or not. No fats, no, you know, oils, avocados, any of that stuff. Keep in mind, veggies come from plants. Plants do have their fats. We know it's not obviously the same as, you know, nuts and seeds, but plants do have fats. You don't need the fat. They are empty calories. You're looking at 9 calories per gram. The foods that we eat, the beans, legumes, all of that, vegetables, they have their fats that come from plants. So we don't need to add in more fat. What we're eating already naturally has fat. These fats that are, you know, oils, all those, you know, sprays, all that, those are not natural. They are processed. They are not in natural form. So we really don't need those fats. So eliminating that helped me lose the weight also. And then after a couple of weeks, I didn't lose anything. And then again, slowly, it's like my body had to get acclimated. And slowly I started losing more weight and more weight. So I finally lost a total now to date of 11.5 pounds. Again, I feel great. I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel tired. I have energy. And again, no calorie counting, no weighing. No, it's just once you get used to setting up your plate, eating certain foods, you get to the point where it just comes natural. And none of that. And when I'd weigh myself, a pound here, 2 pounds here, it was amazing because I don't feel deprived. I'm not restricting, and I was still and am still losing. A lot of people on this lifestyle don't drink coffee, you know, and that's okay. You know, I still have my coffee. That is my vice per se. And I put creamer in there, and the creamer that I do put in my coffee is a plant-based creamer. There are many out there on the market. So there are ways to still incorporate your favorite things, and you can find plant-based alternatives for those foods. Cravings, I do not have cravings. Keep in mind, cravings happen when you're deficient in something, whether it's not eating enough calories, whether it's not eating enough fruits. When you don't eat enough fruits and fill yourself up, that's when those cravings kick in. At the beginning, when I was still getting used to this lifestyle, I was having cravings. So I would go and do some research on it, and it would always come out to the same thing, that I wasn't eating enough. Well, I thought I was because I had my plate full. Well, I guess I wasn't. So I started adding more vegetables, adding maybe another half a potato or another potato, and that eventually did wear off. And I was also putting in my oatmeal some fruit in there, but not enough fruit. And again, keep in mind, I was so, I guess you can say, brainwashed into thinking that I can't eat too much fruit. I mean, my God, my glucose is gonna spike. You know, I'm gonna start gaining all this weight with all this sugar. Well, that was contrary to these beliefs. It did not happen. I started adding more fruit, which in turn left me satiated to where I wasn't having to snack in between. And if I did snack in between, it was a piece of fruit or, you know, another half a potato or something like that. It was still all plant-based. But that led me to, again, not even having a snack in between. And another thing that really helped is listening to hunger cues and your fullness cues. That was the hardest. If I would have to pick the hardest thing eating this lifestyle, it was following that. Listening to your body. That, because we have for so long ignored it, especially if you're fasting. When we're intermittent fasting, that hunger is going to kick in. It will kick in, and once we ignore it, because it usually stays about 15 to 20 minutes, that, you know, hunger cue, and then it'll go away. Well, once we ignore it, we're telling our body right there that it is not going to eat. So come time, once you hit that, say 16 hours or 18 hours and you're done with your fast, you will overeat. And I can attest to that because I would overeat. And I think that was another thing that was keeping me from losing that last 10 pounds is I was overeating because I was so hungry after my fast was broken. So it just didn't work for me. So I found that you do overeat, and you will overeat if you ignore your hunger cues. So what I started doing was listening. At the beginning, I would have my breakfast. Well, the first thing I did was have my coffee. Then like an hour later, I would have my breakfast because I did feel, you know, a little growling, a little hunger. I would have my breakfast. And then shortly after that, I want to say a couple of hours, I'd feel it again. And the old me would have said, no way, I'm waiting till lunchtime. Well, the new way is as soon as I felt it, I went and got a piece of fruit. That died out, and then a couple hours later, by that time, it was lunchtime. So I would eat my meal as much as I wanted, whether it was a huge salad, 50-50 plate, whatever, and then I was good. So at the beginning, I will say that was hard to get acclimated to because I wasn't used to eating every time my stomach growled. So that was difficult. So once I started fulfilling every time I got that cue, it started getting further and further apart. I don't know, body chemistry, but it started that way. So once I started eating as much as my body asked for and wanted, the craving stopped, and the quantity during the day reduced itself. So another key thing is fullness. The moment I felt full or the food started to change, taste different, I said no more. So I would push my plate, I was done. So those two things you have to listen to. They are super important. And if you ignore it, that's where the confusion takes place, and you undereat, you overeat, you don't listen to your body. To me, it is very important. Try it Let me know what you think if you do try this. And if you do eat, listening to your hunger and fullness cues, let me know down in the comments. And so far, like I said, I feel good. I feel everything's okay. I did have my physical, I did have my blood work done, and everything came out great. Everything was within range. Nothing was high. All my cholesterol, my glucose, all of that was normal. And I did it while I was fasting, so obviously they were pretty accurate. The only thing that was a little low was my vitamin D, and that wasn't even too low. It was just right on the cusp of being low. I was taking liquid vitamin D and it was just a dropper. And I was thinking the whole time I was doing that it wasn't enough. And I don't think it was, because prior to that, I was taking a regular supplement until I got the liquid. And prior to that, my previous blood work a year ago, I wasn't low. So I don't know if the pill and the liquid are two different things. They work different. Maybe the drops weren't enough, not sure. But anyway, I'm back to taking the D3 and K2. And I got this, I believe, on Amazon. I can link it down below for you. And another, as far as supplements go, another thing I do take is the MegaFood B12. I do supplement with that because if you are eating vegan, plant-based, you do need to supplement your vitamin B12. And as a 50-year-old, I feel like this way of eating for me is perfect. You know, I feel like I'm the weight I need to be. I don't have any issues as far as the issues I was having before. And if you're over 50, you have lots of weight gain, especially in your midsection, or you feel like you're trying everything and nothing is working, but you haven't given plant-based eating a try because you feel like, I've never done it. It's too restrictive. I can't give up animal products. Give it a try. Give it a try for 30 days. See how you feel. See if you did lose weight. All that, I mean, you have nothing to lose, really. And if you do decide to give it a try, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear how it worked for you. And I will continue to eat this way. It is easy. It's, again, don't have to worry about how much you're eating. Obviously, if you eat a surplus of potatoes constantly all day long, I mean, yes, I mean, we know that if you overeat all the time, you will gain weight. I'm talking about, you know, listening to your fullness cues, listening to your body. If you listen to your body, you will not gain weight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking time out to watch this video. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Subscribe if you like these videos. If you find these videos helpful, give it a thumbs up, share the video. I will link this video right here, so go watch that next.